Okay, guys, what I wanted to talk about today was using Scrapbook. So let's say you're um, starting to get your plans together for this garage, and you realize that you want to show maybe a detail of the framing, kind of a cross section of the wall, but it just doesn't lend itself to the plans. And something I also say too is, if I was going to detail this out and put some fills in there, some textures, and some other things, wouldn't it just make sense to do it once? And then chances are for my next project, it'll probably work out for the same thing. So this is when I typically use Scrapbook. So this is the way to access Scrapbook. So if I had done a detail or something like that, I could just drag it in and say, okay, yeah, this is perfect. This is what I need for my detail. So, but I don't have anything created. So how do I go about creating something? So first thing you need to do is open up a new window and say File, New. And then it'll take you, select, I typically like A4. So now you need to go about drawing something. And so you can use the scale drawing tool to make a drawing. And I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to speed it up and show you guys what I did for my drawing. Okay, guys, what I first did was I clicked scale drawing, and then I'm just drawing the 2x4 walls here, just using the line tool, top plate, double top plate, going to the bottom plate here, and just lining that up. And so here I'm going to try to apply a fill to this area, just a checkered fill. And then I'm going to move on here to just creating the foundation, not putting too much detail on this foundation, just that it exists. And here I'm going to do the sheathing on the outside, 1/2 inch OSB, and then I'm working on the siding. So one thing I forgot to do here was you need to make them completely bounded squares, if you will, with a closed end. And that way you can select it and put a fill to it. So I just did the sheetrock there. Now I'm completing the circle here and making this bounded, and then I'm going to put like a OSB fill, and then I'm going to fill this out with the siding fill. So I'm just playing around with the fills. Not really, doesn't really matter what they are. So last one I'm going to do here is I found the insulation fill, and I'm messing with the scale and then the rotation. So just so to make it look good in the plan. So it's kind of tough to, you gotta find the right scale to make it look decent. And then I'm finally going in here and labeling things. So I'm just labeling everything up. And one thing I did mention is that it might be best to do this outside of the scale drawing tool, because then these labels won't be scaled, and then they'll be independent of themselves with their own text. So that's it. That's all it took to make this drawing. Thanks for watching. Okay, so here's my drawing, and now the question is, what do I do with it? How do I get it into my model? Because I technically did it in a different place. And so from here, what you need to do is go File, Save as Scrapbook, and then you need to name it in a scrapbook. And so if you don't have a scrapbook already set up, then just name it whatever you want. What I'm going to name this one is Scrapbook. Let's go framing, wall details maybe, wall framing details, and then hit save. And so what you're going to notice is it's going to pop up here, and bam, here is this great detail, and I can actually drag this out onto my plan, and there it is. So let's go ahead and try it. All right, so I'm going to have a new page right here and drag out my, sometimes they're hard to select. There you go. And bam, here I have this great drawing already done. And because it is a scale drawing, I can change the scale and make it bigger and smaller. The only thing that can kind of be difficult is the labels are also scaled, so they're going to scale down with it. Maybe a way to get away from that would be to make a scale drawing and then label the scale drawing outside of kind of the drawing. That might be a way to do it. So, all right, and so next the question is, okay, now that I've created this scrapbook, what do I do if I want to edit this scrapbook? Maybe I don't like this drawing, or maybe I want to add to the wall framing detail. So I'm going to show you a little bit. So let's say I wanted to add a drawing. So I'm going to say Command C, and the question is how do we edit an existing one? So here, and as you can see, is you can add different pages, which is pretty cool. So I've got my framing details right here, but then I also have like corners, and then I have openings. So obviously I need to do more work with my framing details and get more stuff in here. So this is the way to do it. You just hit edit. So this is going to open up this file, and then you can see all the pages that you have. So I've got my openings, I've got corners. Let's just create a new page and call it wall sections, maybe. That's a good one. And now just copy paste that guy in, and he's will be paste to the layer default. That's fine. And then it's as easy as that. So now this is going to be in one entity right here. So then go File, Save, and now when I go back to my big plan here, this, instead of being in wall framing details, it's actually going to be in my wall sections right here. And that's just, I think, a little bit easier way for me to organize it, is instead of making a ton of different scrapbooks for, each drawing I have, I'm making one scrapbook for framing, one scrapbook for foundations, one scrapbook for decks, and then I'm putting everything in there. So the other way to use things, obviously, are to use title blocks and stuff like that. I typically use the plane, and I can come in here and grab a drawing name. That's what I like to use. Grab drawing name. Boom, put that out there. Then I could edit that, or let's say I want to use this one right here. And so a lot of really powerful tools. You could use the detail tool here and say, hey, I'm also going to do another detail of a smaller area here. And so with these, typically you have to come in here and select different areas of it and say, okay, I'm going to do a detail of this, and then on page 5, it's going to be the third drawing. So that's basically how I use Scrapbook. The other thing, the question is, where can you access these scrapbooks? And that's a good question. Go to your preferences and folders right here. So it's going to say, so all of my scrapbooks are stored here. Application, SketchUp 2018, layout. And then you could go there and you could, for example, delete or access those plans if you wanted to copy them and send them to someone else. You could go here, copy them, and then send them out. The question is, if you're a Mac user, I think this is a little bit more difficult to find. If you are if you're a user on a PC, this should be a pretty easy file to find. But basically, they're kept in a few different places. You can also add a folder or get this folder out of here if you wanted to store them in a different place. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit about scrapbooks today, and this will be all usable information as you go to create your drawings and your blueprints. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye. Thanks for watching our video. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can get updated on all our newest videos. Also, go ahead and click the links below so you can see our social media profiles as well as our website.